I love you guys.
Dance off, bro! I have the high ground!
Expecto Patronum!
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor. Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. We are back to conclude our Harry Potter series with Pirate Sarah, Kevin, and Cameron with Deathly Hallows Part 2. So this is crazy that we already went through 8 episodes of this podcast in 2 months. So welcome back, guys, and let's get into our impressions of Deathly Hallows Part 2. So whoever wants to go first.
This is a dark one. It is. Like, compared to my bitching last week about how the other one was just slow and they were just traipsing through the country. I like that this one gave us kind of those few slower scenes in the beginning, and then like it just picked up from there, and it didn't really let down from there because they had a lot to tie up within that amount of time. I think it was very smart to split the book into 2 movies because there's just so much to cover. Overall, I like this, even if it is dark, and I mean, Voldemort dies at the end, whatever, but like from where we've come, it's a great tie-up, a bow on the top. So I really like this movie. I do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I enjoyed this. I felt like it was a little clunky at the beginning, which I'm sure Cam and Kevin are going to get into as well a little bit. But but once like it got going into like the actual like wrapping things up and getting to the point of it, I thought it was really, really good. Like it was a really good finale to this series, and like I don't know, I would still say probably my favorite finale will always be Endgame, but like but just like this was pretty good when it got down to it. So
I would say, so I watched this in 2 parts. I started watching it Thursday night, and I kind of dozed off with the ghost of the Ravenclaw girl, and I was like, we need to pause this because I'm gonna go to sleep. Then
Ravenclaw girl.
Listen, she was the daughter of Ravenclaw.
Yeah, Helena.
I was falling asleep. I don't understand what the purpose was. So I was like, man, is this movie not as good as I remember? And then when I restarted it, I was like, no, this is great. I mean, if I'm being really critical, I mean, it was a little like a couple of times like, let's stab the Horcrux with the basilisk tooth, right? Like a couple of times it was a little like maybe you could have put this in the last movie and like been a little more creative. But like overall, I was just like, all right, no, this is good. It was just that scene.
Yeah, and a lot of this movie too, they did it like on their own. It's very different in ways from the book, because like the book is all done from like Harry's perspective, so like a lot of the battle he's like kind of by himself, or like, and so in the movie they made it more so like he was isolated in some parts, but there was always bullshit. Like you always knew what everybody else was doing. They did a really good job at like intertwining everybody's stories in that aspect. Read the fucking book, Kevin.
It's too long.
All right, Cameron, your thoughts on Deathly Hallows Part 2?
A thoroughly entertaining ending to the series. There was a lot to tie off that they successfully did, but it still kind of leaves you wanting to see more into what these characters become. But they deal with it all very well. I mean, whoever finds the resurrection stone laying in the grass one year is gonna have a time. But other than that, it was good. Like the start of the movie is a slightly slow. Like I almost wish they could put those scenes where they went with like the goblin and getting the sword of Gryffindor. Like you could have put that into the movie before, instead of just ending it and starting it in the same location, because you get that same kind of slow draw until you end up in the mines of Gringotts or whatever. But from that moment, it really does pick up. And so once we get into specifics, we can get to it. But I don't want to pick it apart on just my quick review of it, but I think it's a great ending.
Yeah, I mean, like there's endings of franchises that don't end it well. Rise of Skywalker.
So I would too say, like, speaking of other franchises, it reminded me, so when Neville takes out Nagini, it reminds me of when Arya is the surprise person to take out the Night King. And like this, you know, the subverting expectations of like who is the hero of the story.
Mhm.
But like this made more sense. You know what I mean? Like this was done better than that.
And
We'll get into the specifics.
I want to say that they did that in the movie because I want to say in the book, I want to say Neville doesn't kill Nagini. I can't remember. Can somebody fact check that? Like, because I'm pretty sure.
I'll get on that.
Yeah. Well,
if I have a chance to prove you wrong, I will take it.
Oh, I love that.
I hate you. But yeah, I don't think he does it. I think it's Harry that maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, that would just be interesting because they like again that just all comes back to like the filmmakers kind of did a lot on their own and made it their own in this, like to whereas the others feel like, you know, they just missed so many opportunities to add crucial information.
Right. Yeah. Well, Kevin's looking that up. I mean, we should probably finish that before we move forward, but like
And
I mean let's just keep going. So let's start off the movie starts off.
it is Neville. So you were wrong.
He does. Okay.
Then
Okay, I wonder if it's maybe where he does it then or when he does it. Because I know there's some sort of differentiation, like maybe he doesn't do it in front of everybody or it's done at a later point. I wonder.
Maybe
Okay.
you should read the book, Sarah.
It's been like 15 years. God damn.
All right, well, let's get into the specifics of the movie. So starts off with the Gringotts' journey to go into Bellatrix's vault and find the Horcrux cup. And so they have Griphook, the goblin that I guess was like the main one that went down with Harry and Hagrid back in Sorcerer's Stone. And so they go down and, you know, all the hijinks happen with Griphook trying to abandon them with the sword and then like the dragon, which is really cool because in Harry Potter world at Universal, they have like the dragon on top of Gringotts Bank, which is really a really nice detail.
Yes, that dragon is on top of Gringotts. Gringotts is a ride. So like at the top of Gringotts is the dragon, and like every so often like fire bursts down.
Yeah. It's really
excited. So fucking excited.
Yeah, it's a really cool detail, and like I don't know, like this is kind of clunky. I did honestly laugh when the one goblin that they keep using the spell on to make him like dizzy and like you know compliant, and like Griphook abandons them, and then they're just leaving the one goblin just gets roasted by the dragon, and Ron's like, oh well, that's unfortunate. Jeez. We're just
good line.
Yeah.
Right. Talk about catching strays.
This poor
Aren't
guy.
they using the Imperious curse on him?
I can't remember the name of it, but like it could have been. I don't know.
Like I'm pretty sure that's why it was like a big deal that they had to use it at the last second because they were not convincing them to let Bellatrix in because it was very clear it was not Bellatrix.
Didn't they have Bellatrix's wand?
Yes, and I don't know why they didn't bring it. It doesn't make any sense.
Like I remember watching. I was like, because I haven't seen it in so long. When they were like, "Show us your wand," I was like, "Oh, so she's going to pull out Bellatrix's wand that they just said they have," and she was like, "I shouldn't have to do that," and I was like, "This is like when you're a kid and you get caught with your older brother's ID and they ask for a backup form and you don't have it because it's not you. Like everyone knows, so you should have brought it."
Yeah, like they genuinely had it, and all three of them were there. So who has the one? Just give it to them for the minute.
I don't know,
but yeah, I'm pretty sure like he uses the Imperious curse, and that's why.
That would make sense. I mean I don't know. They're just like it's an odd thing. I just feel like this is super clunky with like I didn't even remember that they used the polyjuice potion for this scene. Like I just
They use the polyjuice potion again to get into a place in the ministry again. Like I said, there are some things that are a little like, again, it's a little repetitive. But I mean, it does lead to the Gringotts ride at Universal being really fun.
True. I do love that ride as well. So like I don't know. It's like but like the Universal Harry Potter rides are all just great. So
I think Escape from Hogwarts is better, but yeah.
oh yeah, Escape from Hogwarts is the best.
And then Hagrid's motorbike is great too.
Yeah.
Different experience depending on which seat you sit in.
And do you get to shoot down Hedwig?
No, because you are the good guy, Cam.
Cam just wants to shoot owls out of the sky.
Cam trying to be Sara over here.
Cam, you can come sit with me. You take Hedwig, I'll take one of the Weasley twins.
Okay, sounds great.
But yeah,
Double
it was
homicide.
like it was a little like you're doing this again, and you didn't bring her wand, and like you didn't know that it was gonna wash off the spell. Like, but whatever. Whatever. They need to get there. They need to get in.
Yeah.
It would have been like it would have been cool if they had like combined those scenes. So like two of them or one or two of them are going to the going into the vault, while one or two of them are going into the ministry to get the locket from what's her face, the evil bitch,
Bellatrix.
Umbridge.
Umbridge. Yeah.
So like if one of them's going to get the locket from Umbridge and two of them are going down into the thing, and they all like they could have combined that somehow. I feel like it's not my job to write the movies, so I don't have to come up with all the details, but they could have combined that, like things like that. But
oh well,
it's still fun.
Yeah.
Riding dragons and destroying things is fun. So
and roasting goblins.
Incinerating them.
Hero, he just said destroying things is fun. Like, he's such a villain. It's so funny. But I do want to talk about that scene though, like Hermione pretending to be Bellatrix and like just the exquisite like acting that is, because like obviously it's not really Hermione, it's Bellatrix pretending to be Emma Watson, pretending to be Bellatrix. Like, it's fucking amazing. Like,
yeah, it's great acting.
Incredible. The mannerisms, just the little like just ticks things, fucking incredible. I just had to say that. I love it.
Yeah, where she says hello to the random stranger on the street, and then Harry and Ron and Griphook are like, why are you acting nice?
Right?
Honestly, all the actors that portray those three in this movie, fantastic job.
Yeah, agreed. Well, Ron's looked like it's Ron with just like facial hair. I was like, wait, this actually looks like it's Ron right now. But
could be
like a little bit. So,
how did they get out of the vault? Because Griphook left them in a locked vault and then it just opened randomly after. Like, how did they get out? It doesn't make, I don't remember how they got out.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how they got out of the vault once it closed.
Because it was like
they rode the dragon out.
Well,
but how did they get out of the vault room? I don't even remember right now. I don't know.
Didn't they use the goblin to like open the door with his hand or whatever? I think that was how.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, did he get burned after they got out of the vault?
Yeah, he got burned after, because then they watch Griphook leave, and like the other goblin is like pretending to like use the rattle that he doesn't have, and then he gets incinerated.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
You're good.
Now I know. I remember.
So then after this, then they go to Hogsmeade and they meet Dumbledore's brother, Abadorf, and which again, like Abadorf.
It's Aberforth, isn't it?
Aberforth. Whoops.
Yeah, it's like Abelforth. Aberforth.
Okay, well,
love you, Jake. No, it's totally fine.
I was combining that with Ganondorf from Legend of Zelda, apparently.
Yeah, fuck yeah, valid. I take that any day.
I'm gonna destroy you on Smash Bros. With Ganondorf.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do that. But yeah, so like this Aberforth and this this is how Neville comes and finds them, and so like this is a cool detail. We haven't really known anything about Dumbledore's family at this point, so like it's cool, and like obviously it makes sense why his brother is like he's like he feels abandoned by his brother throughout this whole thing because Dumbledore didn't talk about his family really that much in the movies. So like,
well, like grow the fuck up though, for real. Like he's Dumbledore. He's one of the greatest wizards of all time. Like that's like being a CAI agent. Like, are you gonna go tell the Mark that, hey, I have this really cute niece and nephew? Like, you know what I mean? Like, hello, he's been protecting them the whole time. Like, just fuck off. He's just a jealous brother.
I mean, it's a late in the story, like family we didn't know about edition, whatever. Story movies and TV shows do that all the time, whatever.
Yeah, who cares about Abelndorf?
I'm a dork.
Yeah. He serves really no purpose, and when he shows up later, he still kind of just helps with the shield and then runs into the CGI fight, which is good for you.
yeah,
but you just talk shit about a character I like and then don't really help too much and send off a painting lady that I have to look up the backstory about to learn that it's the sister that died between you or between Dumbledore and another's fight. And they could have just done a little like Deathly Hallows inked backstory thing like they did with the Deathly Hallows or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but like I also understand.
You had 2 movies to fit it in there.
True. Yeah, I don't know. Something, again, this does feel clunky because they are just like crushing things into this movie. But like, again, you had to like make 2 parts to this movie because the book was so long. So, but so then we have the Harry and the crew unite against Snape, and like basically push him out of the Great Hall. And like this was a fun scene. Even like McGonagall goes up against Snape at one point. Like, dang.
Yeah, you can tell in that scene though too, like he's pulling his punches. Like he's not going 100%. She's pissed. Like she's like, you killed him, I'm gonna kill you. But like you can tell he's still like
right.
I do want to, like you can still see that. So
and he deflects like her attacks into the twins to kill them.
Yeah, onto the Death Eaters behind them. Yeah,
Right.
which is just like a nice subtle move for sure. Of like, hey, fucking I'm with you, bitch.
Right.
Yeah, and then he just like flees out the window. So
You should have just like taken out the Death Eaters, like gave McGonagall a shitty look, and like just been like, obviously.
It is interesting how shitty their security was though, because Harry got to that assembly and every single member of the Resistance showed up at Hogwarts just out of the blue. Like they had nobody else in the castle.
Also, can we talk about how Slytherin just gets all thrown in the dungeon?
Right.
Yeah, like you're saying not a single good Slytherin just because one girl called it out.
Yeah, one girl calls them out and they all get thrown in the dungeon.
That's like story of my life. Sarah, shut the fuck up. You're all in trouble. Go.
Yes, good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I forget Filch is around, and then Filch just randomly shows up in places in these movies.
I know. Somebody should have just gave that man a cat and sent him home for real.
I appreciated it because I forgot about him too, and then all of a sudden it's at the end, like or not the end, but like when they call a pause to the battle, and he's just like in the background sweeping. Like the castle is in ruins, people are dead, and he's just like sweep.
Right, he's over here sweeping. Why didn't he use the fucking cleanup spell? Like, you know what I'm fucking
Maybe he
doing?
has to do a certain amount of sweeps before it auto fixes for him.
It was right, like no matter what, it was just funny, and I was like, nah, there he goes.
Do you even know if Filch has used any magic?
In the Battle of Hogwarts, where if you look by like one of the brick walls, you can actually see one of like the set security guards like in the frame. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty decent.
I didn't know.
Note to self.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out and like see if I can find that online because it's
It's
actually
always funny when that happens because like it goes
Yeah.
through so many people. Every single scene and fraction of the movie goes through so many eyes
Mhm.
that nobody
Mhm.
catches, like the
Right.
security guard completely out of place.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then you get scenes like in The Mandalorian with Gene's guy, and
Or
then
like
cut it
the
out
Starbucks
after.
coffee cup in Game of Thrones, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And you can digitally change anything. And
Mhm.
like a little clip like that would be so quick to do. And the fact that it gets through is just funny.
Yeah. Well, I think this might have been like before they actually went back and started doing that, and now they do it all the time. So
Speaking of like digitally changing things out, this is another one. You can tell this was like the height of 3D because
Mhm.
like when they zoom in on like the Elder Wand cracking as
Oh yeah,
Mort's using it, like this was meant to be like a 3D ride in the
True.
theater.
true.
Did you put your hands up? Woo, we're riding the Elder Wand.
Woo! We're riding the electric bolt through the Elder Wand.
So then we get to the aforementioned Harry speaking to the ghost of Helena Ravenclaw about where the crown is, and this
Fell
being
asleep.
like another
Fell asleep.
clunky.
You're telling me the amount of times that Harry's been in the room of requirement, he's never felt the Horcrux in there?
Apparently,
Okay, so
apparently not till now.
Here's the thing is that I like the idea that the room of requirement is also like is whatever room you need it to be. So when some people need it to be storage, it's a storage room. But
Mhm.
like when they needed it to be the training room, it was the training room. So
Right.
like what appears there is what you need to be there. So like they didn't know the Horcrux was there, so it wasn't there. Like it was a storage room. So like they go to the storage room and now it's a storage room because it's not the battle room anymore. And then like it's the storage room, but you need this thing. You need that thing to be there. So like specifically that table is also there this time. I like that idea.
Yeah, well, then Order of the Phoenix, they turned it into a broom closet at one point to like try
Right.
to protect them from getting found out.
Right.
So, I mean, any thoughts, Sarah, on it being a clunky scene?
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
I mean, I appreciate not
filed
hearing
it.
you.
I just noticed Cam's name. Like it's just so funny.
Never
what
gonna
are we
be.
talking about? What are we what
We're,
scene?
we're talking about the ghost of Ravenclaw's daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like there could have been they shoved a lot of like lore because I'm someone that's really into like lore backstory. So like the whole ghost thing, like I'm really into that. So I wish they would have like delved more into that. But as far as like the room requirement, I could see I can see Kevin's point of view and like how they just needed it. They didn't need it at that moment. So like it probably was in the room, but because they didn't need it at that point, like it wasn't somewhere like tangible or like within eyesight kind of thing, you know? So like, yeah, agreeing with Kevin, gross.
Yeah, and I feel like you're talking about lore. I feel like there must have been something in the book where like the ghost of Ravenclaw's daughter was like more important, so they felt like they had to put her in. You know, like
Yeah,
like
because then it's like because I forget if they showed it in the movie, but like how Harry gets it, but then it was like 50 years before like Tom Riddle was able to like swindle it out of whoever and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like that part was like rushed. Like I wish I would have like obviously the books you get that, but like in the movies they don't really delve into the like the mom and the daughter's story specifically. It's just them in this situation, you know? So
Right.
I would have liked more like maybe in the 45 minutes they spent fucking around in the jungle the last movie, they could have mentioned something, you know?
Yeah.
well, like I mean, I know when other Kevin was here for that one, he was talking about how like some stuff was left out of the movie that was in the book, but I remember still thinking that like I still got that point. Like even though it wasn't explored as deeply, like I understood it. Like this one I didn't understand. Like a part of me is like, are they trying to show that like all of the houses are flawed? Like all of the people were flawed. It wasn't just Slytherin. Like it's not just him. He wasn't the only bad one. Like they all are flawed. And so, like, was that a thing in the book? And they didn't really have time for it, so they just kind of rushed it as like a nod to people. But like, if that's the case, they didn't make that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked when you called him the other Kevin, he's better Kevin, actually.
I think it would have been nice to get more shots of maybe Voldemort's influence because it seems like he was so influential. He has so many followers. Like when he comes back to power, all the trolls, goblins, and everybody wanted to follow him. And clearly, when he was like learning to do the Horcrux stuff, he convinced his daughter to give him the lost item that's never been found. And you know, he had a lot of like over Slughorn too, right? So many professors and people just kind of followed him. So like I wish we understood more why. Because the clips we've got of it, I wouldn't follow this guy.
It's the same reason you always get voted out pre-merge. They're just too handsome and charming and like endearing, and that'll do ya.
Oh my god. Oh, the tea.
Fade away, little snake bro. I eat this stuff for
So then we get the Chamber of Secrets. Ron and Hermione go down. They have their little makeout session in the chamber, and they destroy the cup with the basilisk fang. So
Making out. I don't like. I get it, but like, I'm just not a shipper of Ron and Hermione.
yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it, but like I mean, I don't know. I don't think I always thought Harry and Hermione were either they were like the brother sister bond or like it was like they had a thing for each other. So it was like it could have been taken either way, but then obviously I feel like in this one because Ron and Hermione then happened, then they go out of their way to show that Harry and Hermione has been more of this brother sister thing.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
and like I get it, but I feel like I don't know. Like I get it because I have been there from the beginning, but like I don't know. I forget who Luna ends up with, but like I feel like Ron and Luna would have been a good pair. Or yeah, Luna and Neville makes sense too. But I also because he's kind of like Ron. I feel like it could have worked either way because I feel like Ron really likes Hermione because she's smart. You know what I mean? But Luna also has those same qualities. She's very smart. She kind of has that quirky thing about her. So like I don't know, just the Ron and Hermione thing. I'm just like whatever.
Yeah. I'm fine with Harry and Hermione not being together. Like I'm fine with them being like equal best friends. I just never like I don't know. I don't see I mean this in the nicest way possible. Like she's out of his league. Like she is incredibly
Seriously.
intelligent. She's amazing and he's just like cool. So like like I don't feel like they're equals. I don't know why they like and I don't think either of them would be into each other because of that, you know?
Right. I feel like
Mhm.
Ron would always feel like, oh, my wife, Hermione Granger. Like she just is, you know what I mean? Like he would always never feel like he's good enough for her. You know what I mean?
Like I can see him having a crush on her because she's so great, but like I also don't see him like actually pursuing it because like
Ron is funny. He's a family-oriented man.
You know, like I just I don't know. I don't see it. And like it just seems to me like putting the other two main characters together because of the other two main characters.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And then we also get Voldemort as soon as the cup is destroyed, he kills Pylus or his like fake minister of magic. Just jeez. Well, and then like it's alluded to that he made Wormtail kill himself, right? As well. Or I thought there was like a
which we never really got information on.
Yeah,
I think so.
Well, because they only showed like that flashback to Peter Pettigrew being the one that snitched on Harry's parents, but like I thought there was a little scene in the movie that they showed Voldemort making Wormtail choke himself with his arm, but I guess they never actually showed that. So
I don't remember that, and that seems very dark.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. That's a book only thing that Sara can't verify.
That's what I've heard. So I don't know.
Cameron, you're lucky you're not coming to New Hearts because I'd kick your ass.
I'd find a way to vote you out first.
Sara's plane crashes.
Oh my god. Jeez.
And Cam's just like, huh.
Whoa, talk about dark.
Crazy that I'm not first one out.
I didn't
Would you look
realize we
at?
were on this dark.
I don't know why you're all crying.
She was a
Cam
bitch
just like
anyway.
swinging a wire around, just like, I wonder how that happened.
Oh.
All right. So then after this, then Harry rescues Malfoy and one of his friends, and Goyle stupidly gets himself killed. So yeah, so and then it's the Hogwarts battle, and we kind of see more, or we see more aftermath later. Lupin and Tonks die, Fred dies, Lavender Brown dies, like some of these other characters just die. So
She can die. It's disappointing because Lupin was such a big deal, and then
Yeah.
I feel like they were making it seem like Tonks was a big deal. Like maybe she was in the books, and then she like gets a total of like 4 lines in the entire series, and then she's just laying dead on the floor.
Yeah. Well, and then what, like they also allude to Lupin having a son, and they never went into that. They're like, your son is not going to have a father. He's like, yeah, he'll know the reason why later. It's like,
Right. I was like,
As
Also-
a parent, I'm like, stop. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that fucking bothers me so much.
yeah.
But it's just like, why was Lupin there when Harry used the resurrection stone? Like, we got no explanation on why Lupin means so much to Harry that he would appear there with his uncle and parents.
Yeah.
Like,
Go be with your
his
kid.
random
For real.
movie 3 professor that
Yeah.
we've seen once since.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean,
Unless you're here to turn into a wolf and fucking help, like go home. You know, like go be
Right.
with your child for real.
I mean, I guess he's like the most parental figure left because Dumbledore's dead, Sirius is dead, his actual parents are dead. Like,
Yeah, well, good call. Apparently, Harry has a good rap sheet of all his parental figures getting killed. So good call for Lupin to be like, oh yeah, me too. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. God forbid he gets another owl.
So then, the rescue Malfoy is going to mean a lot here in a minute. But then we obviously get to Snape dying and the whole backstory of Snape loving Harry's mom, and Snape's been there, conjured the Patronus that led him to the sword of Gryffindor, and like all this other stuff, and why he killed Dumbledore. So like, I don't know, like it's cool to kind of like tie up loose ends on what Snape has actually like been wanting to do this whole time, and like tie it back to the start of the series. And so I liked it. I mean, I know like we haven't really been meant to really like Snape up to this point, but
yeah, it was sad. It was sad to watch because it's one of those things where you're like, well, shit, he's been good this whole, well, fuck, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, shit, okay, well, like, and so you're like fast tracked into like, well, shit, now I feel bad, you know what I mean? Like I'm crying too, so like, and the whole thing with the snake bite and like being poisoned to death, like it's so much slower and drawn out than just a quick Avada Kedavra, it's done, it's over with, Black Veil type shit, you're gone. This is like a little slower, and so I feel like they gave that to us to drag out that moment. And in the movie, verified Cameron, Snape's last words were actually changed from the book. Like his last words in the book were "look at me," but they changed it in the movie to "you have your mother's eyes," because that's always been like a reoccurring thing over the movies. So fun fact.
Interesting.
I don't believe you, Kevin.
Look it up, it's in the thing.
No, but that makes sense because then that line gets called back in his memories of them saying he has his mother's eyes. So it's like in reverse, kind of like he's come full circle to like coming to like see that in Harry.
Yeah.
Took him dying for it to happen, but he got there. I did appreciate too the idea that like we've seen him as this bad guy this whole time, or this like foil this whole time, but like in his mind he's the good guy. Like like if you followed his story instead of Harry's story, like you'd be annoyed by Harry because he's a pain in the ass. Like, you know, like I did appreciate that kind of nod that like, yeah, we've been following Harry the whole time, so like we have this perception, but other people have a different perception.
True.
Goes back
Yeah, it
to
was
Snape protecting Harry in the first movie on the broomstick, right?
Yes.
They've just been making you think that Snape is the villain a little bit, but subverting your expectations every time.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like because were all the movies directed by the same people? I don't think so.
No, the last
So-
4 are directed by David Yates, but
So it's nice
directors.
that they like cared enough to go back and like pay attention to those small details and like kind of tie it in like that and keep it like canon. You know what I mean? I did like that. So
Right, because it was Chris Columbus the first 2, and then it was
that's
2
right.
different
The
directors.
Trash too.
Shut the fuck
Whoa.
up.
Whoa.
I will say Chris Columbus directed movies that like they wanted him to have like the general feel because he's good with child actors. So like it's not like he was picked for a separate purpose and then did something else with it.
Sure. Trash.
I'm just gonna start calling you Forky because everything you say is just crap.
All right. So then Harry finds out that he's been set up to be like the sacrifice and that Voldemort's been in him this whole time, which checks out. They've kind of built up to this sense of Order of the Phoenix and
Checks out.
The pig being raised to slaughter. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then he uses the resurrection stone to end up meaning he can come back to life, but he gets himself killed, and then you have this great conversation with the whole thing with like his Sirius parents and Lupin about like death is quick and painless, like, and then you have the whole conversation with Dumbledore as well in his mind. So
Listen, I know that we all hate the Resurrection Stone because it's actually kind of dumb, but that scene with his parents and Sirius and Lupin, I'm like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
I was getting choked up. It was, I don't know, like for someone like I've consistently thought about my own mortality times, so like this definitely got me choked up a little bit.
Well, and
Why
even
is
the
Lupin there?
Yeah. It's had to bring down the mood for a second, but when you have 2 dead parents, like you just relate to that kind of a lot. It's just because that's all you want in the world is just a family. You want your parents back. So like I do resonate with like a lot of parts of that movie for sure. But then there's the part, you just have to shut it off. You have to keep going. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
also,
like
fuck
which
you, Kevin.
he does. He drops the stone, so he doesn't have to see them, but he knows they're still there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Just keep the
Listen.
stone. But then
Sarah
if he
and I over
keeps it
here,
on his person, he's kind of just bringing it to Voldemort too, in case he does die.
Right.
But
Yeah, it's just kind of like when I used my idols incorrectly. Like it's just a safety precaution. Just smash it.
I also wish that when Harry pulls up to Voldemort in the woods, it was a little more drawn out. Like that's where I want it to be slower, and they have like conversation, but he just doesn't talk. He just looks at Harry and hits him. Like, no questions.
I
no
fucking
nothing.
love it though. Fuck it.
And you send this random underling to check if he's alive or dead. Like,
Well, Malfoy's
I
mom,
love
but yeah.
that scene though.
okay,
I
still a
love
random underling.
Narcissa's
Yeah.
Random. Fucking wasn't it Narcissa? Fucking Malfoy's mom.
It was
Yeah.
Malfoy's mom.
I love
Well,
that. That scene was great. Her hesitation and like just like, because same thing with Malfoy. She was like, "Oh, I actually fuck like this. This might be a little too intense for me, And so I did like that scene.
I did like that scene too.
Yeah, I appreciated it.
I still don't know why she would say that he's dead.
Because they're in that middle gray zone of like the whole Malfoys. They're like, yes, they are Death Eaters and followers of the Dark Lord, but also they're like, they don't want to be terrible people who kill kids. Like,
Yeah, because in that moment, if she would have went over and been like, "Oh no, he's still breathing," he would have been like, "Finish her," you know what I mean, or finish it, you know. And she just like Harry or Malfoy would have had like that hesitation. That in turn would have got her killed too, right there. So
Right.
by her giving Harry that, he's dead. Like if he just got up right there and like killed Voldemort, well, he's done. What is he gonna do? Punish her? It's already over. So like, quick, smart thinking on her part for
Right.
sure.
Agreed.
And I'm
Somebody
not
got to
even
hit
like,
Harry with another Avada Kedavra just to see what happens. You know?
Could have done that.
Rose
Always
survived
double tap.
twice.
and not like redemption for the Malfoys at all, but just like that people are complicated and they're not all one thing or all the other, you know, like.
I also wanted to bring attention to Lucius. Like, looks like hell this entire movie. Like his facial hair.
He
is
looks
growing.
awful.
Yeah.
He looks terrible.
Rough, yeah. Poor
That man
guy.
is not sleeping. That man is
Those
not getting
stupefies
up.
really hit him hard. You
Yeah,
know?
his hair
He's
care
been
supply
stupefied
did
too many
not
times.
show up.
Yeah, I appreciated that, like how they use the makeup and everything to make him look like shit. So,
As he should. He's been a Death Eater for movies now.
He
Since
doesn't
Right.
have a wand anymore, you know?
Right,
Exactly.
that's tough.
He's been slipping Tom Riddle's diary into Ginny's bag since the second movie. He deserves to like shit.
True. So then we get to Neville kills Nagini and Mrs. Weasley kills Bellatrix. So which is I had to laugh when Mrs. Weasley is the one to murder Bellatrix because it's just so funny.
But like, what spell does she use? She just like
I don't
turns
even
into
know.
dust. She uses like the Thanos snap on her. Like,
Yeah, I don't even think she muttered anything. I think she was able to just
like
yeah.
A
It
little
was-
hardcore.
Oh, I just
Mrs.
love
Weasley
that.
is like
Yeah.
a badass.
Yeah, I think
It seems
that
like
I
the-
think they maybe had her do like a subliminal spell that way when she was like, "Not my daughter, you bitch." Like it meant more, and they didn't have to be like, "Imperio, not my daughter, bitch." Like, it was just like a
Mm.
quicker, more slide thing.
Well,
It
it's
seems
love.
none of the Black family has bodies left. Like Sirius Black just faded away. Bellatrix gets blown into smithereens.
Yeah.
You know, like they just leave nothing to
Yeah,
bury.
Bellatrix turned into fucking gender reveal confetti powder. Like,
Jeez.
It's a pirate Sarah.
All right. And then like the Neville moment of killing Nagini and like being the reason that Harry is able to overcome Voldemort at the last.
powerful. I like that because the whole time we've been saying Neville's always been there. He's always been a constant. He was in Dumbledore's army. Like there was always that. If it was any little bit different, Neville's or Harry's story could have been Neville's, but like either way, he was still like influential within the whole story and having him kill Nagini, just like he also in his own way turned into the special boy. Because not even just that, like physically the character that played him too, like when the movies first started, he was that shorter, more rotund kid.
Yeah.
And Neville was just that clunky kid that can't remember his shit. He can't even remember the remember all, and then you see him physically and mentally grow up through these movies and turn into just like a handsome man. It is just like the icing on top of the cake for his story specifically. I really like how everything turned out for Neville, like character wise and just like actor wise. It was perfect.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
Yeah.
Gryffindor has like courageous in one of the titles, and like Neville's been standing up to people forever.
Yes.
And then when Harry stops coming to school, he's the one who stands up to the Death Eaters on the train.
That's
He's
right.
clearly running like the secret Dumbledore's army at the school when Harry's not there. When they come through the painting, he addresses everybody because he's probably
Neville
running
is
it.
so Debbie.
And then after he gets like knocked out early in the thing, you can see the shimmer coming from the hat in front of him. So
Yes.
he sees the sword is there, and he just keeps that like on his person for a while. Like he earned the sword coming to him. So
Yeah.
I just think he had a great arc.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Really good character development. And also this is where we get the Voldemort laughing in multiple different languages video.
No, but I liked, so the first time I saw this years ago, I did not know what you had told me about, like Neville was also possibly the special boy.
Mhm.
Like that I didn't know that. So I was like, who the F is this loser coming in at the last second with the sword? But knowing that now, I'm like, oh yeah, like that makes sense that like, yes, it's Harry Potter, but it's also Neville. And like, I appreciated it.
Yeah.
It's like, good. You get that snake.
Yeah. That was really good. So then Harry kills Voldemort. Voldemort gets Thanos snapped before Thanos snapped was even a pop culture reference. So, and then Harry breaks the Elder Wand, you know, because as a hero, you can't have that much power. And so,
See,
I don't know, man.
that's what makes me the hero. That's why I'm a hero, Sarah, and you're a villain, because I would have snapped it too. And you would have kept it, and you know it.
Yeah, I would have like I would have like broke it in half and mended it into 2 wands. You know what I mean? Like I would have for sure. I would have fucked around. But one thing that I thought was funny about the Harry killing Dumbledore scenes, like everyone's out there in the courtyards ready. They're like fucking amped up. This is it. We're gonna fight the guy. We're gonna do the thing. And they start fighting, and those two just like fly off, and everyone's just like, yeah. Yeah. What the fuck? Okay. Are we winning? You know what I mean? And so they have to like wait till they come back, like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, I could imagine standing there.
Everyone fled the courtyard too. By the time they got back to the courtyard, everyone is gone. Everyone. Like, everyone's like, let's just take this fight elsewhere. Because they're going to come back here to have their little final duel. You know, they're going to finish this the way we started it. Right here in the courtyard.
True. I do like Harry comes back from the dead a little bit more like, I don't give a fuck. Like, he's standing on the edge and he's like, let's go. And like jumps off with like
such a villain move. If I'm
because you already died, so you don't care. Okay, cool.
It's very good. So then the last scene of the movie is of course
fucking Cameron.
19 years later. And this is where they're all grown up and they have their own kids, sending them to Hogwarts. And Harry's son is Albus Severus Potter.
Stupid name. I get it, but it's a stupid name.
And you're right. Unless their fucking pencils are like enchanted too, you know what I mean? Imagine trying to teach a kid to write that. Go fuck yourself. You know?
No.
It's not as bad as naming your son Edward Jacob. So.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You named my daughter after the Loch Ness monster. Fuck,
like
Cameron, you fuck me up switching franchises like that. Damn it. What were we talking about?
We're making fun of Harry's son's name.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and I want to
just call him Albie. Just call him Albie and let us do the work and figure it out. Like,
right. I just want to touch on Ginny's hair though. Like I loved her hair. The whole movie's beautiful, like
it was
ginger hair, like gorgeous. And then they gave her that ugly ass ginger bob wig. Like what? Stop! I know I'm trying to age her up, but please.
I loved how bad it was because it was so much like the 2008 version of like what a teenager thought a adult with children would look like.
Yeah,
like it was like she was like, oh yeah, 19 years, my hair's gonna look great like this. It was very much giving that. I loved how terrible it was. I also love that they gave Ron a dad bod for that scene.
It's so funny.
I mean, it makes sense. He's probably a stay-at-home dad, you know, to their 3 or 4 kids in the Weasley house. While Hermione is off doing like humanitarian
Hermione's probably
work.
still saving the world. And,
yeah, honestly, I bet Hermione made Ron carry the kids.
Yeah. Well, Hermione still looks great, so like
Jake. Oh, Emma Watson looks good, even older. Can't go wrong with Emma Watson. I'm sorry.
I mean, you can't.
I mean, she's pretty, but yeah, I guess she wouldn't be like on my top list. You know, I Megan Fox, Jennifer's Body. Oh, that's my good. Love her. But I don't know if it's just because I want to look like her or I want to be with her. I haven't figured that out yet. So I'll let you know.
All right. Anyway, so
Jennifer's body on your mind now, Jake. Eh?
Yeah, apparently. All right, well, let's head to our rankings. I think we're just gonna go with the movies because I feel like, I mean, I could read the rest of the list
I mean,
off, but like,
there's no new beasts. There's no new Defense Against the Dark Arts.
there's no new villains. It's been the same now.
Right.
So, all right. So the movies as we have them right now, we have Order of the Phoenix at number 1, Half-Blood Prince number 2, Deathly Hallows Part 1 number 3, number 4, Prisoner of Azkaban, number 5, Goblet of Fire, number 6,
Robbed.
Secrets, and number 7, Sorcerer's Stone. All right. So Deathly Hallows Part 2. I mean, I think it's better than Part 1 because it is like this great finale. So I guess it's like I think it should be at least be number 3. You know, does the clunky beginning make it, I guess, worse than Half-Blood Prince in order? I think it's better than Half-Blood Prince. So, but I guess like it's kind of up for interpretation what you guys think. But like I'm open as long
Number
as
2, my lord.
I would listen. I said since the beginning that 5 is my favorite movie, so I would personally keep Order of the Phoenix at number 1, and I would put this at number 2. But I am willing to be outvoted on that because I understand that it is the finale and like so much does happen. So
yeah,
I'll
I think it should go third.
Ooh.
Under
I like the Half-Blood Prince more. I think it's a more enjoyable movie, continuous, you know? Like, it's almost like, I know I'm jumping franchises here, but it's like Infinity War and Endgame, right? Infinity War was like a more like built story, whereas Endgame was like the fan service, right? Like I feel like this one was more fan service fighting and all that, whereas I like the Half-Blood Prince's story from start to finish more.
Fair. I will say that Endgame is definitely well built up, but anyway.
Yeah, disagree on that one, Kim. Endgame is way better than Infinity War, but go off.
I like both. So,
I'm just thinking back to like what I didn't love about Half-Blood Prince, right? Like, and I think that this answers a lot of those, and that's why I would put it above Half-Blood Prince, right? Like, there's a lot of finding out that there are Horcruxes. They find what's supposed to be one of them, and it's actually not even one of them. You know, like kind of drawing things out that they could have not drawn out, whereas like this has a lot of those solutions, but this does also have a lot of repetitiveness. So I would, like I said, I would put it number 2. If you guys want to put it further,
it just
down,
feels all over the place in terms of everything. I just feel like the top 2.
If you want to leave my favorite movie as number 1, you go right ahead.
Do. I think Order of Phoenix. I would have never put Order of Phoenix at number 1 until doing this podcast, but I would now put it at number 1. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't drop Half-Blood Prince below Part 2 just because of like the good finale factor.
Yeah, like I think that's where I am too. Like it is a good finale, and so like I would rank it. Like what did we rank like Sorcerer's Stone at?
That's the last.
I think the worst one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I would rank it maybe a little higher than that, like a C or something like that, just because like I do like it as far as like it is a good bow to the end of the story. The acting, like I said, with the whole filmmaking, they had to do a lot of that on their own. So I do think it was a good cherry on top. But I don't know. I'm one for like, again, I'm one for the Triwizard Tournament. I'm one for like watching Ron and Harry sit in class and like fight over a book and like watching the classes go on. Like I want to learn the spells with these kids. You know what I mean? So like I like those more like the lighthearted ones, or even like the more serious ones like Order of the Phoenix. There were still those funny moments in it. It wasn't all just bang, 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 bang serious. So yeah, I would probably put it at like, yeah, C, B, low B.
I'm not putting this below Chamber of Secrets. What the hell? I am not doing that.
I mean, if you guys are gonna leave Order there, like Half-Blood Prince is still good. I mean, I would say it is better than Part 1. So I would put it above Part 1.
I'm saying 2 or 3. I think I'm gonna say 2 for myself, and leave Order as number 1.
Listen, if Cam wants to put it at 3, we can put it at 3. And it looks like Sarah wants it below 3. So
Well, we can disregard Sarah's opinion.
Like three aside.
I
Yes,
would put it at
that's what
2
I've been
just if we
saying for
could
years
disregard
now.
Sarah's opinion.
Disregard her opinion.
That's funny because it hasn't worked now because I won more than you.
You know what, Sarah? You'll never win again.
Bet.
But I'll never win, so it's fine.
Your time is coming. You and Debbie, don't worry.
Yeah, it will come, Cam. Like,
You know what? I just think you're all envious of what it's like to still yearn for that win. Okay, now you've gotten it. You're getting rusty.
I'll take my first and second place finish.
You know what, Jake?
Right. I've got
Good for you.
second, first, and first now. So
All
It's
right.
fine.
Listen, you all just had somebody who wanted to take you to the end because they thought they could beat you. Nobody thought they could beat me, so they just booted me early.
I got
Yeah.
myself there.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
That's what it is. Yes.
that's what it was. That's why Kevin voted you out for sure.
I'm just gonna go cry.
Let me
out
get my
back.
salt shake for that one. Jeez.
All right.
I just love how you guys came back from tribal and I was just like, yeah, Kevin, why don't you just vote out your best friend again? I just knew he had a part in it. And then to find out it was solely him was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It is funny how that happened. How if he just kept doing what he was doing.
Pushed it in the fire. It's fine.
So by averaging it
I think
out,
all of this means we're putting it at number 3.
I think because you and I are at 2, Sarah put it lower, Cam put it at 3, so technically it should average out to 3.
Like averages. Yeah, that would make sense.
So, all
Take
right,
to
so
it.
it is going to go right above Deathly Hallows Part 1 and below Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince. So,
Good.
I
My
kind
favorite
of don't like how I don't like I know exactly what this motherfucker's gonna say. I don't like that the movie Kevin likes is number 1. So I am gonna restart all of this and we're fighting for a different movie. Goblet of Fire goes number 1. Fuck Kevin.
no.
Yes! That I mean majority. I
What
think
majority?
it averages
What majority?
out that
Yeah, it's
Goblet
not a
of Fire.
majority. We're deadlocked right now.
All right,
Jake,
let's get Matt in here right now. Let's get
Weird
Matt.
every
See what he
time I
says.
jail you. That
Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire cannot be number 1 for that stupid bathroom scene with Moaning Myrtle alone. Like that alone disqualifies it from being number 1. Are you kidding me?
it's a fantasy, son.
He's with himself. That's so weird.
I mean, think I'd have a fantasy about
that
Moaning
goes to the
freaking
sea.
Myrtle.
That is
Bro,
the weirdest thing.
I love bathroom bitches. Girls
was-
that hang
it was
out in
not
toilets,
necessary.
That's my shit.
It was not necessary to make the teenage boy be naked. It's weird. It's weird. It's all just weird. I don't like it. There's
But
no way
how
that
else
movie's
are you
going
gonna
to
get him to open the egg underwater? You're gonna have him go in the Black Lake.
go in a bathing suit. Like, there's no reason. There's no reason. There's water all over this entire castle, and you're telling me he has to get naked in the one specific bathtub with his doppelganger girl who cries all the time?
Well, nobody uses that
Weird.
bathroom. It's the only one he can have alone. You know,
Right?
It's
Let him
like-
have his dick out for once. Just calm the fuck down. Like,
It's weird. It's
Okay,
very
well,
weird.
yeah, this has gotten.
But it's less weird because Moaning Myrtle's the same age, probably, when she died.
exactly.
Died, yeah.
Yeah. If you don't count the ghost years, it's perfectly
Yeah, if we
legal.
don't count the ghost years, it's not that weird.
Very weird. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm also with Kevin on that one. All right,
I don't
well,
know.
I think
I'm
we're
still
done with
gonna
Harry
fight it.
Potter. So, coming up, so Will, JJ, and I are going to be doing a casual watch through of Survivor Pearl Islands, and
Great season.
yes, great season, one of the best, and I just thought it was a great season to start with that wasn't Survivor Kagyan, which a lot of people do.
That's
So-
right.
It's,
So get
it's
your
where we
chocolate
learned the
milk
very
ready.
important lesson. That we learned the very important lesson that Sandra can get loud too.
Yes. What the fuck?
Yeah. And why you don't let her get to the end. You know what I mean? Like, she's
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
Or just let her get to the end with Lil so she can destroy Lil in a final.
Hey, we just want to have a fun pre-merge without Lil. That's fine.
Yeah, fun pre-jury trip. We'll talk about all that, and I'm sure these guys will jump on for a couple episodes. It'll be 2 episodes per breakdown at least. So we'll be figuring that out. And then for the 4 of us, I think we're gonna be moving on to Pirates of the Caribbean. So
No, I'm obviously a fan of that.
Oh, Kevin's
Yeah.
gonna hate it, and I love that about this.
What
Think
can we do
so?
after that that's like rainbow unicorn themed? Like what else? Because I need to to
Okay,
get
Rainbow Dash, let's chill for a second.
I don't think I'm gonna want to do My Little Pony, but
We're gonna do Twilight.
oh God.
Oh
God,
no.
no.
Yeah, I'm against that too.
I'm telling you, Jake, fucking, you can cut this out if you want. It'll be good for the algorithm. I'm telling you, it'll be good.
If it's just us hating it, sure.
That's what I'm
Maybe.
saying. Yeah, it's like a bad movie review. It'll be
Welcome
good.
to the weekly hate podcast of
Yeah, well, we already hated on like
The tribe of hate.
Yeah, we already
Tribe
hated
of
on
hate.
Rise of Skywalker for a whole episode, so like nothing can get worse than that, I don't think. But
Like
anyway,
Rise of Skywalker is the one with the red cover with the tree that burns and then Luke dies.
Last Jedi.
That's Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker is when we find out about all the clones of
Palpatine.
Palpatine.
I still
Palpatine-
haven't seen it because
Okay.
I just don't care.
Yeah, you don't need to waste your time on it.
I think I watched The Last Jedi and I left the theater like, why? What are they doing to Star Wars?
Yeah, well, they threw away all the stuff they built up in Force Awakens, so like it's
Like there were some cool scenes, like Luke Skywalker fighting Kylo Ren on that like white planet with like the red sand. But
Yes.
it would have been cooler if Luke Skywalker was actually there doing the fighting and it was a good
Yeah.
fight.
Well, that's something else. That's a different podcast.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, listen, my nerd is coming out. I can't help it.
No, I know. I'm glad.
I
we
would
can talk about-
rather rehash that movie than watch Twilight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine to rehash Star Wars because we've been lacking in Star Wars content. So, but we can figure that out. We'll be doing Pirates next, and at least talking about the good things from the first 3, and then probably shitting on the last 2. So,
I liked
I
the
feel
mermaids in the
there's
fourth
no
one.
proper way to do the Pirates movie if we all don't submit our own Jack Sparrow run.
oh, good. Yeah,
Oh God, we're all gonna
talk.
just look like abnormal titans or whatever it is.
We'll talk about that, but we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.